Roll call, please. Gwen Myler. Here. David Costa.
Here.
Stephanie Hausch. Jennifer Bergolic. Here. Steve Sebastian.
Here.
Michelle Shaw. Here. Josie Shattuck. Quorum present. Michelle, hold on one second.
Stephanie just walked in.
Okay. Yeah. We have the Pledge of Allegiance once it's got all done.
We're ready for you.
Oh, wait, did they put it somewhere?
You take it, you can walk with them.
Okay. This one's a smaller one, so you guys can hold it. What?
You can come up if you want.
Audience, please rise. Color guard, present the colors. Color guard, post the colors. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please make sure you get a brownie. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, public participation. Members of the audience who wish to make comments and ask questions to the board consistent with board policy 2:230. Please identify yourself and limit your presentation to 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll move on to administrative reports. Dr. Bute.
Yes, good evening. Reports are contained in your packet. We have one administrator here tonight, and myself, Mr. Martin is here. Martin and Nicole are both down at the Peoria Principals Conference yesterday and today, so they're not quite back yet. I do have my report contained in your packet. I just want to point out a few things to the board. Before I go on, any questions about anything for Scott, something he can answer for tonight? If you have anything for Martha, Nicole, or Rachel, please let me know. I'll pass it on to them as well when they're back in tomorrow. Okay, so we're at that time of the season where we're going to start talking about the tax levy. And so next month, you'll get a presentation from me on the tentative tax levy. And then of course, that will come to a final vote for the board in December. I did put a few bits of information in my report. CPI for last year was again greater than 5 to 6.5. So the board will have some options on what it wants to do on the extension. In the past, we've gone to the maximum allowed by the current tax limitation law, which is CPI or 5%, whichever is less. Last year, of course, was the first time the CPI was above 5 in the last 30 years. And never had back-to-back years where CPI was above 5 at the end of the year. So that'll be a discussion that we'll have next month, and then for a final vote in the month of December. I also did put a very lengthy slide deck in tonight about the Illinois School Report Card. We're also that time of the year where the state begins to publish the school report card. They have not yet published this year's report card. It is currently available at the district level for review. I've seen a copy of the report card. I'm not at liberty to release any data from it yet. It's still quarantined until October 30th. And every year it seems like the folks at ISB make changes to the report card to make it easier to use and understand. They do have quite a bit of data in there when it pertains to schools, to administrators, to teachers, to student scores, and all sorts of data. There are a few changes. I'm just going to highlight a few. I'm not going to go through each one of the slides tonight, but there are just a few things that I wanted to bring to your attention. There's some new metrics that are going to be in there for scoring. Science returns to proficiency-based. Absenteeism the past few years has been listed in two different areas, two different scoring bands. It returns to a single scoring band this year. And if you were in cohort 18, we were not in cohort 18. This is the last year you have to be out of cohort, out of school improvement in order to move on with the scale there. We're not one of those districts. I'll give you some visuals of what some things that will be appearing in the school report. All these things that are in all these pictures are things that are on ISB's web page in some capacity. I've been through, they presented that out through webinars throughout the fall to school administrators. All these things are public information. I just kind of put them all in one place to kind of go through and look at. Summative designation, slide 11, that's usually the first thing you look at. This year there are 5 different categories for summative designation. They're on page 12. We have exemplary, which is the top 10% of all schools in the state. There's commendable, there's targeted support, comprehensive support, and intensive support. And it's very much similar to a bell curve. The vast majority of school districts are going to be in that middle, that targeted. You have then many that are commendable and a few that are exemplary. On the other hand, you'll have some of the low performing schools that are being comprehensive support and those that are intensive support. The expectation is, of course, that our district has been up there in the exemplary and commendable every year since they started putting out the designation. Again, we're hopeful to be in that spot again this next year when that officially comes out on the 30th of October. There's a bunch of slides in here about how ISB creates these scores, and they love to do math, provide a lot of calculus details. It is interesting as you scan through and looking at the documents. They don't really, by the way, 24, slide 24, I give you the history of the districts. We were 2018 when they started giving designations. We were exemplary in the elementary, commendable in junior high, and every year since then, both schools have been commendable. So that's puts them in the top tier of school districts. 2021, of course, was the first year post-COVID. There was no designation since we didn't test during COVID. Last year when we came back, both commendable, and 2023 is, of course, is pending. It's interesting, if you look closely at how the state, what their expectations are, like starting on slide 34, their targets, they never get to 100%. They don't expect every student in the state of Illinois to be proficient in any of the areas. And obviously that's probably accurate, and in capacity it's not going to happen. But you can see where they are in 23. They do have a 10-year plan to get to the 90th percentile for all students. That's a really, really lofty goal. I'm not sure that many districts will to get to that capacity. We haven't been in the 90th percentile for all students in a number of years, and our district has been pretty strong. So that's gonna be an interesting calculus for the next 4 or 5 years when it gets to that tipping point there for most districts. Next month, you will get more comprehensive report about our district and how we compare to comparable districts based on the metrics. So this is sort of the background of where ISB comes up with their scores and how they rate districts for as far as proficiency, not proficient, and whether or not they're targeted for assistance or commendable or exemplary. This is the background of how that comes to being. Like I said, next month we will have the full details of how we did from last year. And these are the students that took the test in April 23. Scores come back to us over the summer. There's opportunities for make adjustments if there are things that ISB missed. And the report has been in preview mode now for about 2.5 weeks. So on pins and needles waiting for that to come out. Questions from either any of the admin reports, from the building level, from my report? Any questions about the report card that's coming up?
A ton of great activities. The camp was just held recently. Timberlake, there was another great visit there. Huge success with cross-country team, volleyball team, like every students are really excelling and having fun and the extracurricular activities, which is good to see. Indeed.
Small and mighty.
What?
Small and mighty.
That's right.
With regards to the report card, then where do we kind of go from there, like, once we get our, so we'll talk more about it next month, but like.
Well, it's difficult for us to actually use the data for real change for each student. So we look at it more of a global scale of how the cohort did, third grade going to fourth grade as a group. For individual students, we look at the other assessments that we provide. We do map assessments 3 times a year. We have in-class assessments. We use those to help drive instruction for individual students to make adjustments for them as we go. The state reports are great, but they don't come to us in a timely fashion. So, that assessment was 6 months ago, and some of those students are no longer here. So it really doesn't drive anything. It's more of a measuring stick of how we compare with other districts across the state. We do take a deep dive and look at it, because it does, we can see historical trends. If we see trends that are heading in the wrong direction, we can look at it at individual cohort groups and individual student scores and make it accommodation if need be. June, we use it as a positive PR tool. It's been really good for us, so.
We'll move on to old business. May I have a motion to approve second reading and adoption of board policy 760, additions, deletions, and changes?
So moved. Second.
Questions? Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the HVAC pre-purchase through the Omnia Partners Opus?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
Yes, so last month I had you do a similar action to pre-purchase HVAC equipment. And then we had a follow-up conversation with our architects about the size of the structure that we were building. And if you recall, we had a conversation about reducing some of the interior spaces and adding more classrooms. We did that. Adding more classrooms does add some square footage. And when they recalculated what was needed for that square footage, we need a larger rooftop unit. So we've gone back to the same organization that has the contract for the previous pre-purchase to redo that. This one is $23,000 higher. It has a larger capacity. I did ask them to build with some extra capacity in there. They were pretty tight on the last one. This is a 40-ton unit. It should be able to take care of all 11 of those spaces, plus the corridor and all the other spaces that are contained inside of it. So we put the last month, we put that one on hold, pending tonight's discussion and action on this one.
So this total square footage of the roof didn't change. It's just the types of spaces
No, it
inside
did
of that
change.
footprint.
Okay, it did change, yes.
All right, that's,
We still wanted the 850-ish size square foot classrooms, but we also added 2 classrooms. So we added 1,600 square foot and made some accommodations there, but still the overall square footage needed to be bigger.
it's going to be like 20 ton to a 40 ton.
26 to a 40, I believe.
26 to a 40. So we should be able to get about 33% above what we were needing before. So this should give us that breathing room, so to speak, right?
Correct. If you look at the 4th document of this item tonight, you'll see the new drawing from White. This shows the additional sizes of that unit. And also we kind of drew in there the future expansion. And I do believe that this rooftop unit will cover part of that new expansion if the board does decide to do that in the future. Okay.
Since this document's underneath that same topic, can you kind of walk us through like what we had to what we're doing? Is this option 1? I thought we had some kind of update happening. Is that not happening?
The renovation of the kindergarten, I believe, is going to be an alternate but it's not shown on this particular plan. This one is showing the additional classrooms for the addition. We're going from 8 classrooms to 10 and some resizing of that. And then we moved when we were gonna do the preschool addition, we were losing too many classroom spaces to put it at the end of the hallway. So instead we're gonna use the current spaces and one other space. So we're actually going to lose 1 classroom space and we're adding 10. So it's a plus a gain of 9 classrooms.
Before we had a game of 7.
It was gonna be a gain of 6. So we made some accommodations there to make sure we can maximize class sizes. Just based on our discussion last month and what we've seen already, the Woodrows are already putting foundations in for their townhouses, and they're gonna have those up before next school year, so we're expecting more students.
And then where it says existing classroom to remain, so if that would not become preschool anymore, that would stay be part of the requirement stuff.
Correct, those would stay as existing classrooms, correct.
Why is it tough on new doors? Do they actually exit out?
We had new doors when we were making that into preschool, so they had exit out to the playground.
Oh,
We see the
now
regs
we're
to
gonna
remove
remove
those,
it.
yeah, not gonna put those on.
And we're, if everything goes right, we're planning this to be ready for school year next,
Absolutely,
and with the digging and February,
with permitting.
weather permit.
Well, it's a very similar plan to what we did in 22 when we did the 5th grade. We started the earthwork in February because weather was ready for it, and the foundation then went in March. That is the plan for this as well.
And so I'm sorry, I'm asking a lot of
Okay.
questions. So when are we reviewing the alternates and the bids and all that stuff of how much this is gonna cost this one? Do we already do that? Thanks.
We have not asked ICI to do another cost out. We took the previous cost that we have from the prior drawings. We know the ballpark of what this should be. And so when it goes out to bid, it'll come back to the board. You'll have an opportunity then to go review all those bids and see if the money makes sense and works for you.
Is that the road on this too?
It is. It's just not showing us.
Yeah,
Right,
but
yes.
that's part of the,
Absolutely.
and that would technically be starting in February also, or March
Oh,
or something
absolutely.
around.
Yeah, it's starting February. That access road is needed to get into the site to do this work, correct?
You sent maybe an update email, not this past Friday, but Friday before, with a lot about the road and the village
Yes.
and all that, timing. So, could you possibly explain?
Our meeting with the village,
Like, yeah, and how this road and who we have to talk to and the process behind, because I recall from the email was something about, they need to do this and it's.
so there are a lot of layers into when you're touching roadways. Okay, and so we are looking at actually accessing the site from the entrance now that's at the farm property. So instead of creating a new one, we're gonna use the existing entrance for the construction road. That's the easiest way to get an authorization from the village, since they already have an access point there. Around 176, the highway is obviously controlled by IDOT. And so when you're looking at making an accommodation on our parking lot and the aprons that go from our parking lot to that road, that requires IDOT authorization. So that's a different conversation, not the village doesn't really control that, that's controlled by IDOT. So there'll be multiple conversations because we also have work that needs to be done at the parking lot area to bring that up to code as well.
The front existing parking lot?
Correct, yes.
When we say the existing entrance.
The 3 existing entrances.
Right,
Yes.
off of Valley View, is it the road that's between the house and the barn?
Correct.
Okay.
That is the high point of the property, so that's the preferred site from the village standpoint for visibility.
Are they not gonna approve it until they do a traffic study?
They are doing a traffic study, that's correct. And they will not approve it until the study is done, that's correct.
When are they doing that study?
Soon.
Do we have to pay for it? Or they?
Yes, we are. Yes, you are.
Our parking lot is not up to code?
Our parking lot has several drainage issues. It is, we did some repair work this past summer, and because of the base on the parking lot is not great, some of those areas that we fixed are already depressing in the ground. Yes, so the areas that where you access, the actual where you access the parking lot onto the highway, we had some repair work that was done along those areas, and when we took off the asphalt, we could see that the culverts underneath had totally collapsed. In order to correct that, that requires IDOT authorization to touch that, because you're going to stop traffic and move things out of the way to make those corrections. Otherwise, the cars and buses will continue to have all kinds of bouncing issues when they come across those potholes. I can't stop the potholes from happening with the current configuration of them. So we're hopeful that we can do it under a maintenance project with the village, and not have to put in curbs and gutters and things of that nature, which we might have to, which is an expensive project. We do have money in our health life safety fund that we will not be using on health life safety. That it's my understanding from NRE that we can utilize that, about $1.3 million to fix the parking lot. So that would be a different pool of money than the bonds we're using for buildings and construction.
Back to that new road though, or on Valley View, so the village is responsible for Valley View, right?
They are correct, it's in their purview.
So the traffic study dictates that you have to put a turn lane in, and they have to construct one. What does that do to our project?
It won't do anything to delay our access. It may delay the opening of that road, But hopefully I'm assuming that we're gonna be able to get all that work done over the summertime. That's the intent. Right now, we have a 3-lane access coming off of Valley View onto the site. That's the plan. So it'll be a turn lane, one each direction, a 3-lane. I'm sorry, I didn't put that drawing into the packet, but we do have that drawing as well. Based on the conversation with the village, we're not expecting complications or hold up from the village or their neighbors.
I know they were for it.
Well, they're completely
very for it.
Absolutely. Moving the bulk of our traffic off of 176, putting on the Valley View, the village is highly in favor of, have said they'll do it in their power to assist us in that capacity.
Financially?
Nothing, yeah, right.
But permit wise, of course.
But if you're doing it, you're hiring a third party to do traffic study. Why would they not say we need a turn lane, right? Think about it. And then why would the village not agree with it? So then you just assume that we're gonna end up putting something in. I'm assuming a turn lane on both sides, meaning that road has to be widened.
I don't want to make those assumptions, but
No,
in my
just
mind,
saying,
I go there as well.
There's a high likelihood that that turns into something bigger than we originally anticipated.
Has the potential.
Does it matter? I don't know, because it's the amount of traffic, the type of traffic. Because if there's all the common trucks that are coming and going, because they've got a large parking area back there as well. So if it's not residential traffic, does that impact?
I'm sure they'll be part of the traffic study.
Okay.
The types of vehicles that go in there. Obviously, Snap-on, nearly all of their trucks come down Valley View and into their site from back there. And the bulk, of course, of Prairie Road traffic happens between 7:30 and 8:45 in the morning and 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So those are going to be your high volume times for school and things. In theory, what the plan would do is we would maintain this side of the building for staff parking. So you'd have staff coming and going at different times throughout the day, and all of the bus and the parent drive would be off Valley.
Anything else? Okay. May I Yeah, we need a roll call vote. David Costa?
This is on.
On the HVAC.
HVAC.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Stephanie Howard?
Yes.
Jennifer Regolick?
Yes.
Steve Sebastian?
Yes.
Gwen Violet?
Yes.
Michelle Shaw?
Yes.
Motion carried. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes regular and executive session minutes from September 19, 2023, bills payable, treasurer's report, quarterly financial investment reports dated September 30th, 2023, and FY 23 audit.
So,
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote? Stephanie Howard?
yes.
Jennifer Regolick?
Yes.
Steve Sebastian?
Yes.
Gwen Violet?
Yes.
David Costa?
Yes.
Michelle Shaw? Yes. Motion carried. May I have a motion to accept and award the electrical pre-purchase for the 2024 construction projects?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
So we did a pre-purchase on electrical 800 amp panel. We had 3 bidders. The first bidder made an error in their bid and did not acknowledge one of the addendums, which made a difference in their time frame for the project. So we went to the second bidder at $36,320, which was Caliber Electric. They did meet all the requirements and acknowledged the addendum. We do expect that to be, once approved by the board, created and here on time, ready to go for the addition.
So this is an 800 amp panel.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Everything that goes with that.
I was trying to figure out what it was when I was reading through it because I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So the project doesn't require any switchgear or transformers or,
The switchgear is part of this, not a transformer now. Currently does not require a transformer.
and then what's the lead time on this?
I believe this was 20 weeks.
Is there a benefit or a downside to ordering?
If you turn it down and you go to the regular bids and don't get a custom made one, it's 52 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they're a year out unless
Yeah.
you can come up with some accommodations.
You go to get a square D or an E, it's a year out.
Any other questions? Roll call vote, please. Jennifer Regolick?
Yes.
Steve Sebastian?
Yes.
Gwen Violet?
Yes.
David Costa?
Yes.
Stephanie Howard?
Yes.
Michelle Shaw?
Yes.
Motion carried. May I have a motion to change the November 21st, 2023 regular board meeting date to November 14th, 2023?
So moved. Second.
Okay, and there are several board members that won't be in town, and so we wouldn't have quorum, therefore we decided to change the board meeting date. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay. May I have a motion to go into executive session at 7:29 PM for the consideration of matters related to the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees, or their representative deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employee.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.